What's up guys, Leviathan here, and today I'm going to be bringing my first Legion guide on Ret Paladin macros, specifically the ones you need for PvP. And Legion has cut down on a lot of abilities, but we still have a decent amount of macros that we can find useful in PvP. So we have our standard blessings macros, healing macros, and DPS and CC macros. So the ones that I recommend that everyone uses, especially if you're going into 3v3 arena, are these ones right here. So let's start it off with our Blessing of Protection. So I usually carry 3 keybinds for my Blessing of Protection, one for myself, then one for my DPS, and another for my healer. So right here, you can see it says Show Tooltip, Cast, Target equals Party Member 2, Blessing of Protection. Usually I like to have my DPS in the second slot of the arena, and that doesn't always determine if it is actually the second party member, but you can also change the Party Member 2 to a name. So for example, my one of my threes partners, Scourge, QT, a DK, but I just like to leave it as Party 2 until further notice. I have 2 of these, one for my healer, one for my DPS. The next macro is my burst macro. Now, in Legion, we don't really have any trinkets or keybinds, or not trinkets, not keybinds, but anything that we can use to pop into our Avenging Wrath. So right here, I still have my my legendary ring and my Warmongering Gladiator's Badge of Victory, but then again, those don't work in instance PvP. So if you're gonna have a burst macro, it's just gonna be for world PvP. So maybe potions or whatnot. Now we have our cleanse, DPS, and healing macros. Again, it's the same format as the Blessing of Protection, with Party Member 2 cleanse toxins for DPS and a Party Member 1 cleanse toxins for my healer. You also want to change the name of Party Member 1, Party Member 2 to your party members' names, unless you want to go off of top and bottom slot in the arena placement. Next, we have the same format again for my Flash of Light. I have 2 keybinds, one for my DPS and one for my healer. And actually, technically, I have 3. I'll go over this macro next. We have my heal. Now, this macro takes part with Flash of Light. It's a shift modifier macro, so if I press shift and the keybind which I have here is F, it will press Flash of Light, but if I just press F down here, it will use Justicar's Vengeance. And if you remove Justicar's Vengeance from this macro and put in Eye for an Eye or Word of Glory, it will do the same thing. You'll have the base button, no shift, will be Justicar's Vengeance, and with shift, Flash of Light. So then we also have my Freedom macros. I forgot to change the name of this, Healer Freedom. Same thing as the past 2, Blessing of Protection and Flash of Light for my teammates. And then we have Hodge. I use a shift modifier macro for my Hodge. Without shift, it casts on the target that I'm targeting, and with shift, it will go on my focus target. That same format applies to my Rebuke. Again, no shift, it attacks the target that I'm targeting. With shift, it will hit my focus target. Now the next 2 macros, you can't see the icon because it's in the honor talent tree and it doesn't activate unless we're in PvP combat. But this is the new sac ability. You have your sacrifice for DPS and your sacrifice for your healer. And actually, it's not called sacrifice anymore. It's called Blessing of Sanctuary instead of Blessing of Sacrifice. But it still removes, stun, silence, fear, and horror effects from the targets. But unfortunately, it doesn't remove polymorph. Like, why not just go the whole mile? You're doing stun, silence, fear, and horror effects. Might as well just make it a magic dispel. And next up we have slow. This is also the same format as my Hodge and Rebuke. It just lets me press Hand of Hindrance on either my target, or if I'm pressing shift, it will go on my focus target. And the last macro I have here is another shift modifier macro for my Templar's Verdict and Divine Storm. You can see if I press shift here, if you look towards my first action bar, you can see the icon for Templar's Verdict, but if I press shift, it turns into Divine Storm. And that just lets me save, another button to press. Alright, so that's about it for Ret Paladin macros in Legion. There are some variations that you could put in, like you could put a mouse over Flash of Light, but I don't really recommend putting that in because then you're kind of trying to move your mouse around, trying to click on things. You can actually accidentally click the wrong target, or it would just be a pain to mouse over people in rated battlegrounds or arenas. So I recommend just running with the macros that will auto-target your teammates when you need to heal them or bless them. Alright, thanks for watching this video, and I'll be putting out a more full PvP guide at 110, but these macros will be relevant throughout Legion. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video. Forgot one thing. Alright, so in Legion, spell stealing and purging is going to, screw us real hard, so there is one macro that you guys do need to have, or not need, unless you want to click the buffs off, but it's pretty helpful. You can use this cancel or button right here, and see if I press freedom, and I press this button right here, it takes freedom right off. And the same goes with Blessing of Protection. I recommend keybinding your cancel aura, obviously. I keybind somewhere over here, but I just want to show you guys. There is I guess you could put in Shield of Vengeance if you really want to be very careful with your spell stealing if you're fighting a mage, because Shield of Vengeance can get spell stolen, but now it's off the GCD, so you could use it to shield like one big ass Chaos Bolt or Glacial Spike or something like that. Absorb that damage and then immediately cancel it before the GCD comes off for the mage or shaman, whatever, to purge it. Well, I mean, I guess you could just let a shaman purge your Shield of Vengeance, but this is more specifically for fighting mages with spell steal. So now that's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next video.